before the season started, I had a video that I uploaded that got a lot more hits than I figured it would because it was sort of off the cuff. And it was which teams I viewed as contenders, which ones I didn't, and which ones I thought were maybes. Now, we're a quarter of the way through the season. The NHL tweeted out we're officially a quarter of the way through the season. Goals are at the second highest total they've been since the lockout that wiped out the 04-05 season. So this season is just below 05-06 in scoring. So, for those of us who felt that the trap was here to stay, maybe it's breaking down a bit. Maybe it is. We'll find out. But that does change things in terms of contenders. Because if offense is up, it does change some of who may or may not be contenders. I'm going to try to do this through alphabetical order. Anaheim, right now, not a contender. They have some heavy lifting to do before they get into that category. They could be there by the end of the year. Arizona, no. Boston, no. Where's Buffalo? Buffalo's pretty easy too. No. Calgary, maybe. Calgary, they're in that maybe category because to me, the scoring, that top line they've got now of Ferland, Gaudreau, Monahan, as long as they can get the scoring behind it, as long as their defense can be solid, and if Mike Smith can lead them on a run, he's done a run once in his career. Not his fault he played in Arizona. I mean, you can't very well lead a team on a playoff run when they're never in the playoffs. But Calgary's a maybe. Carolina's a heavy no right now. Chicago right now is a no. And they're a no. They're not in the playoffs. At the time I'm recording this, they're officially right now not a playoff team. So I can't say they're contenders. Columbus is a yes. They've actually kind of improved on last season. They're first in their division right now. I absolutely do see them as contenders. And so I'm looking for the wrong logo when I look for Dallas. Dallas right now is a no. Until that defense becomes more consistent, I can't endorse them as being contenders. I just can't. Detroit, too young. The star players you're looking at are likely too young, and I don't think they have the depth to make a 4-round run. But the fact that I have to explain why they're not a contender shows they've made major strides. Edmonton, that's a no. You'll notice that before the season I had a lot of teams that were in the maybes. I don't see a lot of teams as maybes right now. Florida, nope. LA, maybe. I would have had them in the S's as recently as 2 weeks ago. Right now, maybe. Mini. Maybe. Mini's in the maybe, even though they're out of the playoffs, because we haven't seen what they can do when they're healthy. Dubnyk went on that 3 shutouts in a row streak. And while you could say, well, Anaheim we haven't seen healthy either, true. But it's not like Getzlav and Kessler are coming back soon. And it's not like the Anaheim Ducks are starting to show signs of getting better. Minnesota is. Minnesota is starting to show signs. Montreal, they're a no. Nashville is yes. Nashville's absolutely, in my eyes right now, a contender for the Stanley Cup. No reason not to view them as that. New Jersey, shockingly, is a maybe. Again, with that many young players playing key roles, that many rookies playing key roles, it's hard to address them and say, oh yeah, they're contenders. But they're definitely in the maybes. The Islanders, maybe. Hey, I forgot the Avs. Somebody's got to be mentioning that right now. For right now, I'm going to put the Avs as a no. I'm going to put Colorado as a no. Because they've come so far so fast that I don't know that if they did make the playoffs, that I could see them making a run. I'm not sold on their depth. Yeah, I'm not really sold on their depth. But they're playing a lot better than I think any of us expected. The New York Rangers, maybe. Sure. I'll put the Rangers down as a maybe. Because I can't rule out a team that's got Henrik Lundqvist playing really, really well of going on a run. Absolutely they can. Ottawa, Well, they were a maybe at the time of the famous trade. They're a no now. Right now, for where they are, they're a no. I cannot argue that Ottawa belongs in the conversation right now. Philly is also a no. I've discussed them before on my channel. Right now, they're a no. Pittsburgh's not even in the playoffs right now, and I've still got them as a maybe. The fact that I've pulled them out of the yes contenders spot tells me that I can't roll them out. But I can't look at them and say, oh, yeah, no, they'd easily win 4 rounds. Or at the start of the year, I said I still don't know who could beat them in a best 4 out of 7. Now I could see a situation where Columbus could knock them out. I could see Tampa knocking them out. I could see, definitely see Washington avenging years and years of stuff that's happened. But in terms of actual contenders, I don't see it. St. Louis is a yes. Yep. They have 2 good goaltenders, really solid defense, and their offense has been sensational. So yeah, St. Louis right now in my eyes is a contender. San Jose, right now I'll say no. There's too many pieces in San Jose, and I don't know that Thornton could go a full 4 rounds of the playoffs. The way that Burns has been struggling. He scored his first goal last night, but the way Burns... I don't know that San Jose is a team I look at and say, yeah, they'll contend, they'll get into the running for the playoffs. Or not for the playoffs, but for this first Stanley Cup. This could change easily. I'll do this again at the halfway mark. But for right now, they're a no. Tampa has to be a yes. Tampa absolutely has to be a yes. Their play has been kind of sensational. Toronto's tough, so I'm going to put them as... yes, maybe. Depending on the week, they're either here or they're here. They haven't been here, but I want to see more consistent play defensively from Toronto. So I'm leaning towards this category, but again, 3 weeks ago they would have been here. So Toronto is flirting with actual Stanley Cup contention right now. They're close, in my eyes. Vancouver is a no. Vancouver is not a Stanley Cup contender. There's no way this team goes on a run. Vegas, in the most shocking of shockers, is a maybe. Vegas absolutely is a maybe right now. And I really am shocked that that's happening. Vegas has put together a very solid team. And they're a team that plays so well in Gerard Gallant's style that even though they're down to the number 4 goaltender most nights, you wouldn't know when you look at the score sheet. You'd have no idea. The goaltender they're using right now, Maxime Lagacé, nobody knew who he was at the start of the year. Unless you follow a minor league team he played for or the junior league team he played for, no idea who he is. That's fine. The only reason I knew him was because he was a Dallas Stars prospect for a little while. And because I played NHL games where he was in them. Other than that, I had no idea who he was. Capitals. Yeah, maybe. Because they're the Capitals, right? The Capitals are almost always a maybe. And then, after the playoffs, they're pretty solidly in the nose. But maybe. Winnipeg? The Jets? I think they're one player away from being a yes. So in my eyes right now, the 4 best teams in the league are Columbus, Nashville, St. Louis, and Tampa. Those are the 4 that I could see winning a Stanley Cup. It is not an insult to these teams. It's just those are the 4 I look at and say, yeah, I could see them going on a run. Columbus has never gone anywhere in the playoffs. But eventually somebody has to, whether it's Winnipeg or it's whether it's Colorado or Columbus or Winnipeg. I swear I'll get the names right. And Winnipeg could be argued in that category. Toronto could be argued in that category. And because Pittsburgh's won 2 in a row, they could be argued in that category no matter where they are in the standings right now. So I get that. But personally, I think we have 4 bona fide, look like they're contenders playing playoff hockey right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 that are in the maybes. That's 15 teams that I say, yes, I could see them winning a Stanley Cup, or maybe. And then you've got the rest of the league out here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All 31 teams. So there's 16 right now that I look at in the league and say, no. But think about it. There's only 16 that make the playoffs, and there's 15 I'm looking at going, yes or maybe. Back in the 80s, if we did this with the 21-team league, the yeses, you'd probably have 2 teams. Edmonton and somebody else. And then your maybes, you'd have probably 2 teams. The amount of depth in the NHL, the fact that there's teams here who could move into the maybes. Detroit could move into the maybes, absolutely. Anaheim, once they're healthy. Boston, if they can somehow keep up this run. No, I can't move Vancouver. And Chicago, based on their history. Dallas, if their defense gets better. Ottawa, if that Duchesne trade starts to shift in their favor. And San Jose, if they can get on a little bit of a run and maybe get themselves into second place in the Pacific. So the only ones that I look at and say, yeah, they're no's, are Carolina, Arizona, Montreal, Buffalo, Florida, Vancouver, Colorado, Philly, and the Oilers. And who at the start of the year would have thought the Oilers would end up being pretty heavily back in the nose? I viewed them as contenders at the start of the year. This is how quickly things can change. So I'll do this again at the halfway mark of the season, but for now, those are the 4 that I see as contenders. The maybes, these are the maybes to come. And these are the ones that are no's. And there's some pretty solid no's in there. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Again, this is just for fun. There's nothing scientific for this. This is just, here's all 31 teams. Here's a chart. Here's where I see them. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. And thank you guys for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.